I would really, really wish to thank from the bottom of my heart the Cebuanos who have resoundingly given me this historic mandate. Never before has the million vote mark been breached than in this election. Over 1.4 million Cebuanos gave their vote of confidence, agreeing with the policies that I had laid down during the pandemic, even though there were a few noisy critics that seemed to dominate social media, but after all, the silent, huge majority of Cebuanos agreed with how we handled the pandemic. And then Typhoon Odette happened, and again, the huge silent majority agreed with how we had faced the myriad challenges of clearing major roads, addressing the electricity and water concerns, and furthermore, rebuilding people's homes and lives. Whatever else these critics may say, I guess they have been repudiated resoundingly with a deafening roar coming from the Cebuanos themselves. And this is exactly why I will continue to work as hard as I can. Kamo, mga Sugbuanon, kamo gyud ang naghatag nako ni ining kusog. Gipunan pa ni ini karong inyong gihatag nako nga hilabihan kadako nga botos ug mayoriya batok sa akong kaatbang. Wa pasukad, masukad usab kini mahitabo nga 1.1 milyones ang mayoriya sa usa ka kandidato against an opponent whom I had identified as a worthy opponent, a former Secretary of Tourism, a multiple-term congressman, and a political name established in the annals of Cebu's political history. So you cannot say that I was running against a non-entity or a nobody. He had his own political pedigree, and his own political performance to speak of in many times past. So this is really a saan man nina kog tawag, ay di ko mahibaw kung saan ko kamo pagpasalamat. Pinaagi na lamang siguro sa imo nang giingon, dublihon nako. Kung unsa nay akong napakita sa milabay nga tulo ka tuig, dublihon ko pa na. Ug dili ni rhetoric, dili ni kay istorya. Naibaw naman mo nako, dili sulti pa buhaton, buhat ang pasultion. Okay, in terms of infrastructure, mopadayon ang atong road concreting sa provincial roads, which I think sa pagkakaron, as of latest count, we only have less than 100 kilometers to concrete for provincial roads. But we will also continue to concrete barangay roads. And we have started on concreted barangay roads the installation of solar lighting, solar street lighting. We will do the same with our provincial roads, solar street lighting as well. Our provincial hospitals, we now have a pending application with the DOH to upgrade from level 1 to level 2. And Director Bernadas was here in a meeting prior. He said that murag mauna, dunay duha mauna, probably Danao and Bugo. What does it mean? Level 2 allows us to put in more specialists, more doctors, And on our part, we can now increase the bed capacity as well as increase and upgrade the medical equipment that will be made available in all of our hospitals. As you probably know, previously, maybe about a month ago, we have already supplied ambulances, 2 ambulances per provincial hospital. Ambulance niya, dili ni patient transport vehicle. These are fully equipped ambulances so that if anything happens to the patient while on board, the necessary equipment would be available to help immediately. Dili lang kay oxygen. Dunay kanang para sa to, mga pang resuscitator, mga everything else. These are by DOH standards truly ambulances. So 2 ambulances per provincial hospitals and 1 ambulance per district hospital. I reiterate, these ambulances are to be used by our patients for free. Wa ni bayad. So, and I expect all of our medical personnel to remember that, even as I admonish them once again, to work as hard as I am working and to treat our patients always with utmost respect and care. So, that's as far as our... Now, we will soon be signing a memorandum of agreement with the Philippine Institute for Traditional Health, PITAC, Traditional and Herbal Care Medicine, because we will be integrating ang Sugbo program with the PITAC direction of focusing on medicinal herbs and medicinal plants. In fact, as we have launched Sugbo 3 for our LGUs, barangays, puroks, and households, this will now be part of the criteria. They need to be able to plant at least 10 identified herbal and medicinal plants as identified by the Department of Health. We intend to train our barangay health workers through the assistance of the PITAC. Pangutana ra gud sa mini anang PITAC bi kay aron akong inas doktora. So that they too will be able to promote traditional and herbal, as well as kaning wellness nga mga measures. We will be putting up in all of our provincial hospitals wellness centers as well. Magbutang tag wellness center. I think that is also the direction of the OH. So, mao na ang atong buhaton, because what have I learned during this COVID period? That traditional medicines work. They are inexpensive, of course. Dili na. Why huge pharma firm ana nga makapanghatag og mga kanang commissions kay you plant your own herb man, lagundi mana, you do it. So why maka-commission ana? Pero affordable, kaya sa katawhan. Pwede gyud na nila mahimo sa ilang kaugalingong balay. Ang importante lang para nga knowledge, no? Nga mahibaw sila that this is something that they can do ug makatabang. This is the Philippine Institute of Traditional and Alternative Healthcare, ang PITAC. The draft MOA has already been sent by PITAC, so we are now reviewing it, and we will soon schedule a signing of that draft MOA together with, of course, the Department of Health.
For all provincial hospitals?
All provincial hospitals, and we will be promoting this as well. Provincial hospitals not a wellness center. Pero, kaning mo kaning pitak is to nga mo assigning nato is to promote traditional and alternative healthcare throughout the entire province. This is something that I had talked about in the midst of the pandemic when I saw nga pwede sila mo inom og duaw, pwede sila mag steam inhalation, dili na natuob ha, kay suko na pud meron, di na natuob uy, kay lysio naman meron, steam inhalation. So ato ning balikon kay kaya sa kadaghanan nga di kinahanglan mo adtong ospital, nga di kinahanglan resitas doktor, kay kaya raman. Before we give all of these huge pharma firms all of our money, ato sa i-consider unsa may pwede nato mahimo, unsa may kaya sa atong mga kaigsuunan, mananom aning mga yerbas. Besides, dili ni lisod pagtudlo nila kay mismo ang ilang mga apuhan mao naman ni sa una. Pero somehow mas attractive man gud na ay kuan, na ay mga commercials on mga chemically produced by these big pharmaceutical firms, plus of course inigrisita ana, well, it pays for foreign trips for some. But at what expense? Even all of these chemicals, unsa na ni mahitabo sa imong liver ana? Kaysa kaning kaning natural, organic. So we will go back to that. That's for health, no? For education, I am glad that we will now be back to face-to-face classes. We are now readying in the opening of classes in August, that ang tanan natong kinder, grade 1, grade 2, grade 3, tagaan natong school bags. Again, the complete school supplies up to K-12. Ang katong from grade 4 up, this will be katong envelopes, plastic envelopes nga na-handle. And naanay notebooks, naay pad paper, ball pen, and for the kindergarten, murag na Crayola. Well, all of these, no? Ato nang i-distribute karong August. I did not want to distribute atong module kay unsa may gamit. Besides, ginikanan antoy mo paso og graduar. Module. Karon, we're going back to normal, then mag-distribute na pud taw. Mo ni naanda nila ang katong when I was governor. And syempre, nanapod akong naong diha. Parang samot kasuya na pong kontra. Nagpapili lang ko katong gwapa-gwapa akong naong. Kaya ilamang hipuson. Up to now, kibaw ba mo gipang hipos in taong kaban ang mga notebook? Naa pa, makitaan pa. Oh, so ako nang gipapangita o kuan. Nagpapangita na ko o kanang katong gwapa-gwapa. Ingko nga, ayuhan ninyo Photoshop ha. Pero kanang murag hapog ako. Yeah. So, rest assured ang akong katong mga suko, aron samot mo kasuko. Mo na ang atong sa education. I am also thinking of integrating ang Sugbusog program into a feeding program for our school children. They're asking me, saan man nimo dako kayo ang atong SEF? Well, primarily I want to spend it on our children. I want to spend it on our students. So, I'm looking for that program. Kaya besides, apil man ang mga eskwelahan sa atong Sugbusog. In fact, it's a competition sa atong mga eskwelahan. But I want now to make that to make it evolve into a school feeding program kung unsaon na mo pud pagtabang diha. No? Nga at least ang ako unta, sana naman lang, no child should go hungry. We continue, of course, with our scholarships. As you probably know, ang CP Gifts, padayon ta ana. But of course, dili ni ang katong mga maski 75 ang grado himo nimong scholar, sa pagka pataka malang tao mo. We are encouraging what? Mediocrity. Kung mo ni ato himong scholar. Kay porke lang anak og leader, nya 75 ang grado, imo-himong scholar, wa na. So tingan ato nila nga scholarship pang ang way paglaom. Kaning CP Gibbs dunay 85 ang maintaining average. That is why most of them, para sa atong CTAP scholars before, they graduate cum laude, magna cum laude, kay they maintain that. These are poor but deserving. Dili ka ng poor na daan sa kahimtang niya, poor pag yun diri, ay di wala na paglaom. Tawgon nimo paglaom, wala na paglaom. Usik-usik lang tas kwarta na sa gobyerno. Ipadayon ta na. Even as I hope to expand the Sugbo Kahanas program too. Ongoing na karon ang training sa atong mga TVIs sa mga applicants and that is spread throughout our board members and the vice governor. So ipadayon ta na, and I'm looking at expanding it. 100 million man na ang initial nato. I'm looking at expanding it depending upon the success of the program actually. With 100 million, mga 4,000 kapin, I think, beneficiaries ani ang maka-avail, mga 4,800. That will give them the ticket to a better job opportunities. Once you are issued the national certificate to inighuman nimo aning mga courses, no? And this is funding of the province of Cebu, which we coordinated with TESDA. TESDA identified the TBIs, and mo na ang role sa TESDA, identifying the TBIs. Unya, karon we will also be kaning mga doon na natin initial group nga mo graduate 120 I think of them mura ato mo guni pattern sa step program, meaning ini-graduate nimo doon na kay toolkit, kung dressmaking doon na kay makina, kung welding doon na kay welding machine, kung carpentry doon na kay carpentry tools, kung baking, pastry, doon na kay oven. So, mo na atong i-procure pod kay ini-graduate nila dungan sa NC2, ihatag sa nato ang toolkit ilang nga gamiton. That's insofar as education is concerned. Tourism. I already promised, first of all, nga we will stage the Pasigarbo sa Sugbo karong August. During our anniversary month, it will be our 453rd founding anniversary. We are now, this morning, I had a department heads and consultants meeting, and we are now looking into the possibility of packaging one suruy-suruy Sugbo nga package nato, and most probably musugod ta sa kamotes because mao ni ang na-postpone when COVID started. So most possibly tanaw na to. Let's hope nga way kuan nga maayo ang weather kay tingalig mag kulbahinam na sad among sakay sa kuan sa. But one package sa suroy-suroy this year. What else? In the field of tourism, we continue to help the resorts in rebuilding their and we continue to push for their securing the certificate of compliance from the province, even as we continue on programs that promote products as well as places and events with the Cebu program nato. I think there is karong May dunay sa ani? What do they call this? Third district adto sa Robinson, sa May Santa Cruzan, or there's a name nila. So it will now be the entire third district ang mo showcase sa Cebu. Tourism is alive and well. Daghana nangabot nga sa atong mga tourist destinations actually, and I am so happy kay in town ang mga nagtrabaho, ang nanginabuhi because of tourism. Karon doon na taon sila income pud balik.
Katong insure ko ang mga bangka, mga boats, ang province ang bayad sa insurance.
We always had that. Ako na ibalik. Maura man na PCIC. Ang tanan fisher folks, karon magpa-insure na gid sila. Sa una, sila pa-insure. Pa-insure na sila. 6,000 gud to ka bangka nga guba. Usa ka libo ra ang nagpa-insure. Kadto nakadawat og 28,000. Pero katong 5,000 ang gibuhat na lang nato, gitagaan nato og marine plywood, epoxy og kanang nga na bronze nails og dasig Sugbo nga card para makapuno og palit og pintal para mapintalan nilang kasko. Labi na gyud para pod maletteringan nila, di ba? Na may pangana ilang bangka. Mo nang pagpalit gyud mo kanang pintal o kanang brush para lettering. Kung imo tawag ana kuan ba, Amelia or whatever. Yang nga speakers butangi gyud ninyo, I love Gwen forever. Oh.
Napitaw na ba yan?
Oh, butangi gyud na ninyo ha kay para sa mo suko ang kontra.
Going back sa katong road concreting go, when you said nga solar lights, it becomes a component sa roads na
It will now be a component, well, not really, kay daghan na magutag na human. Mo na to atong isunod for the provincial roads. Ang provincial roads lang, we are in the process of procuring the solar lights. Ang atong barangay roads, nakasugod na ta og taod sa mga katong nga konkreto nga kuan. Ang solar lighting magud nato nga program for the barangay. Adto nato itaod kung hay nanay na human nga concreted nga barangay road. Dili nga moingon ato dito dapit ibutang ngadto sa ato dapit sa akong lagwerta ibutang nga ris likod sa balay ibutang dili. Ari na sa asa ang kadaghanan maka benepisyo anhas daan.
So
Okay.
this is the direction
So-
nga mag-solar.
Solar tanan hasta ang tanan nato nga provincial roads. That's the direction. Tourism, it took quite some time because we needed to get the road right of way. But finally, we will be starting on the Malapascua Island Circumferential Road. Kay kung musakay ka dito o habal-habal, ang kapila na ko ana, usahay maghiyak-hiyak imutian, kaya mag-ana naman, musaka naman. So, naglisod magutag kuhag kay kuan kay nipis kay ba so nang lisod tag kuhag road right of way. So mo na ron nipirma na ang tanan nga mga property owners according to the kapitan, so masugda na nato ang circumferential road sa Malapascua. And that will also have solar lighting. Sa pa sa kadaghan akong ipadayon nato of course ang caravan of services quarterly. In fact, I have already asked our department heads to schedule for our second quarter caravan of services starting next week. That's actually 10 caravans of services, one per district of the 7 districts, then one per island sa Bantayan and Camotes, and ang ikana po for Pilar. So we will start next week on the caravan of services expanded. This time, if you would recall, doon na bitaw to'y what do you call that? Bawi sa custom, kanang ila untang ipagawas, unya, gidako, yari, coconuts. Katong lubi ba? Nga pila to ka kuan containers daghan na kayo, so gihatag na nato kita lang ni kuha nya karon nanom na ta daghan na kaitag na kuan nga mga coconut seedlings. I-appeal ko na kaya na ta mohatag tag 3,000 seedlings per municipality. Ma-appeal na sa atong caravan nya karon nakapangupras man ta we earned about 1.4 million. So sa 1.4 million palang daan, sige pa tagkupras, kay katong dili na mo turok bagi kupras. Makapalit na taron og katong charcoal briquette nga machine. Kay mga anak man, mga 1.2, o di libre. Karon katong charcoal briquette, mabaligya pag ito nato. So, mo na akong giingon. Nga negosyo, nga way puhunan, puros ganansya. Wa man tay puhunan natong lubi. Ang puhunan nato katulang paghaul padung ngadto sa naga kanang atong yuta diha sa agriculture. Unya karon panghatag na tas mga farmer groups kay daghan kay nga tumba nga lubi. Makapanghatag na tag libre nga coconut nga nanubo na seedlings. Ang sa pagkakaroon pa lang pwede nang we can already afford to give 3,000 seedlings per municipality. Nya sige pa ta. Ang agriculture continues, of course, with the Sugbusog. For LGUs, tayo schedules. For the LGUs, barangays, puroks, households. For the eskwelahan, for the kapulisan. And ang atong ECD, Enhanced Countryside Development, padayon sad na, extending assistance to those that wish to avail of loans from our major financial institutions. And ang Sugbo Negosyo, we have already launched it, no? Part 2. So I will again call Mandawi Chamber para I can have an update o kumusta na ang atong Sugbo Negosyo pod na program. What else?
Disaster preparedness.
Di ba nagpapalano ka ito kung pagpalit mo sa each barangay yung generator ba ito?
Nangita pa akong gipapangita katong solar powered generator kay maura magyapon kung if simbako another thing like that happens magkabuang na pud ta pangita krudo or gasolina. So gipapangita gyud nako mo na wa ko ni dali og palit usa og genset. Anyway, kadaghanan sa mga kuan nanay mga gensets. Nana. Ang mga barangays gipanagaan mo. Nakaamgo. Yeah. Sa vet na to, padayon ang atong keeping tight border controls against the ASF nga kaning affliction that has now hit more than 50 provinces. So padayon ang atong pag-prohibit sa entry of live hogs, pork and pork-related products coming from the entire Luzon, coming from entire Mindanao, and coming from Region 8. Ang sa bird flu, we also are preventing the entry of live birds, although they do not advise.
Katong ko ang new Capitol building that will be
Government
transferred to
center.
Ako paghangyo aron barato, di ko gustong palit og mahal kay ako pang gipakanaon niya. Kung di sila manugot o di kum dayon. Kibaw ka, musaka namang mga presyo ana og ang initial nato nga purchase at this price bisan pagpalito na nato 150 mailang kuan per square. Kuy nauga na to less than 100. Mas mubo na ron ilang appraisal sa atong appraisal committee. Kung di mo kay inigpalit nato sa initial wa pa magod, it's only about 16 hectares available. Gusto mo kong palit og 50 hektarya at least. Okay, so that we will build really a new seat of government. Pero di na sila musugot ana. Di na gud ako ibalhin gud. Kung una tagpalit nga mahal. Mumahal nagsamot. Di ba? Musaka dayon kay palit na gud ta. So I can always change my mind. I can always exercise a woman's prerogative to change her mind. Depende sa presyo.
Ikaw, clarify lang ako. For the next 3 years, Gov, or for this year, i-upgrade ang hospitals, or
Yeah.
in the next 3 years ni mo?
No na atong application murag pending naman ang provincial hospitals. I'm talking about provincial, okay? Ang provincial hospitals murag duha na na-approve. I think Buggo and Danao from level 1 to level 2. To give you a sense of perspective, Eversley, I had a meeting maganina god diri man si Dr. Zerna. Eversley is also level 1. They're applying for level 2. Now, kana atong provincial hospitals, once ma-approve sa DepEd, then mausab atong plantilla. Makapuno na tag number of personnel. O, of course, ang mga equipment nga requirement, we will have to meet that, comply. So, duha na na-approve. And doon na tay, kaya ang pag-approve ko nila, di lang, hasta ang plano sa additional nga buildings nga to ibutang. So, now, ang bantayan ug ang kamotes, i-applyan na sa nato nga ma-level 1 this year. That's my target. Ug dili na nako ma-achieve this year, pamutlan na kog liog tong akong gipang putlan na kog ulo katong akong gipang assign. Simple. Diba? But really, this is urgent kayo nga. Kibaw ko, sige mo reklamo. Dili na nang kumuingon nga tungod sa previous kapoy kay na muraputaan ni katong previous pod. I'm trying the best that I can as far as it's humanly possible. I wish I were superhuman. Sige lang. Oy baligya dihang tablitas para mahimo tang superhuman.
Bato.
Pero ang nakalisod, maski ako'y superwoman, ang mga naglibot na ako, di man pod. Maka-increase na ka, I'm not sure, mga 200 tingali. Pero actually, mo yung ka 100 bed. Actual utilization mo abot magag 160, 180. But ang imo lang kuan is 100 bed. Ang live ila ipaalaw ko no, but dili kong sugot.
Kasi parang national
Na advisory.
wala po sila
Wa pa man sila musulti na ako.
Ang about kuan Gov, kanang is there any plan or program for attracting again foreign tourists? Kasi
Well, I think in the first place, my executive order that set aside certain illogical measures that were in the original resolution already allowed already facilitated the entry of foreign tourists, including, first of all, the taking away of that reciprocity agreement insofar as recognizing the vaccination card between the Philippines and the other country. I mean, hello, unsa man na? Is that a mutual defense treaty? Second, when I merely reiterated what they had forgotten, that they did allow the entry of unvaccinated foreign arrivals subject to a 5-day quarantine. I just reiterated that. And yet, at first, purting sabaan nila dito sa Manila. Kay ako kuno, I'm allowing unvaccinated travelers into the country. Not me. They already allowed it. They already allowed it. So I just reiterated it and put it in my executive order. That's the trouble when you shoot from your mouth. You get a foot and mouth disease. So we made it easier for foreign tourists or foreign travelers to enter the Philippines. We keep on, now kung ila yun ang policy nga di papagawason nila ilang mga nationals, what tayo mahimo ana. But on the other hand, nahibaw ta nga daghan gyud kaayong gusto mo anhi sa Cebu. We have the international airport. I think international flights are increasing by the day, and arrivals are also increasing. sa atong mga websites, we continue to promote our natural, our tourist destinations and sites. So, I think we're pretty good. I just got feedback na the tourists really are coming back.
Ito yung earlier announcement ko to increase the incentives of the DHWs, barangay arms.
Yan, nakuha ko adto, nakasaad nako, kinahanglan to nako tumanon para musamot og silang tanan ari na butar nako. Hangyo sila ang mga BH murag 4-2 man tayo na ron.
For 2M.
So tag 5 na sila, ha?
2M na siya next election. Dito mo 1M.
I promised nga for my 5th term, 5,000 na ilang madawat. BHW, no? Oh, pareha tanan, BNS, daycare. Ang tanod is a little lower, I think. Oh. Pero masaka po na. Oh, pero para kuan, di ka na, puting daghana na, mo na mga kampanya na ko, di, nung samot na higid hinuon na silang, ari na lang ginoon na ko, butar. Peace. You can now hire more doctors and more specialists, more personnel for a level 2. Mo na magsigigyaw-yaw, "Why ko doktor ko?" Usahay ba? Di kasabot ning publiko bitaw. 10 bed ra na. For example, we still have 10 bed district hospitals. So ang iyang categorization sa PS, sa personnel service is tulo ra na ka doktor ang ibutang kay 10 bed man na. Saan man na nimo be? I will go outside the law. Mukuan ko. How will I hire them? As consultants na po. Naman ko yung mga consultants.
Okay.
Na? Sapa? Pasig ako nalimtan. Napay, kuan? Kanang ipasuya samot ba? Kan pa. Kuan?
Water.
The 6 billion peso bulk water development program that will involve 24. Well, kung maapil na initially bidded out naman, Argao, Barili, and San Fernando. So that's about 7 billion. Which will involve 27 municipalities. We will develop bulk water in each of these municipalities, and from the main transmission lines, we will also put in new distribution lines so that this will now be up to level 3. Nanang kuan, feasibility study, nana ang detailed engineering, nana tanan, doon na nasad ang estimates. But there is a private sector that has expressed interest. So there is the possibility na kuan, this will be in partnership again with private sector, PPP. Ang importante diha nga government will be there, provincial government will be there to see to it nga ang tariff will be people friendly, always protecting the interest of the people, of the Cebuanos. You know that we were able to settle already the Manila water problem, no? And I thank, as I said, the new management of Manila Water headed by Enrique Razon. Di mo mutana ka nun sa ang taking. Ha? Mutana lang mo. Di lang kong tubag.
Sige.
But we are planning, actually, given that One Cebu has overwhelmingly won in the entire province of Cebu, from nagkwinta mo wa. Nganong na-surprise man ka?
Then, mass of taking.
Since this is really history in the making, we are planning on a mass of taking with all of our winning congressmen, mayors, vice mayors, councilors, board members.
Invited si President BBM.
Yes, we of course we will extend that invitation. I hope na his schedule will permit. But as I said, prior to even the election, vice president, presumptive vice president Inday Sara had already asked when the inauguration of One Cebu would be done,
Because she will come.
because I think she was already planning on that schedule. I hope they can make it, but
Both of them.
we would understand kung busy kayo.
Both of them. Hi.
Si Sarah.
Si Sara nangutana, but we will have to,
You will invite both.
yes, of course, silang doon.
They should come.
So, what did this prove? Katong inyo nakita sa April 18, that was really the voice of Cebu and the Cebuanos. Katong huge, gigantic assembly of Cebuanos, that was the expression of how Cebu would go. And they would go for the uni team. Contrary to claims of others who later on held a rally and claimed that Cebu was their color, I guess repudiated that has been disproved. And I think that we also declared our support ang One Cebu at the right time. That was April 12th. Given the existing circumstances then, the Pulse Asia just come out with a latest survey at the time, which seemed to show a dip in BBM's numbers and a surge in Lenny Robredo's numbers, 9 points. I think there was a dip of 2 points pa to. Then One Cebu declared its full support, April 12th. And from then on, BBM's numbers were increased and were consolidated good, and everybody else rallied. So it was a timely declaration of support. There's God always sets in His own time.
Were you able to talk to the
Yes,
Cabinet President?
yes, by phone. Nagtawag siya to express his, wow, overwhelming thanks to Cebu. You know, he had never won before in Cebu. When he ran for president, for senator, he did not win here. I just want to clarify this. When he ran for vice president, at the time, we supported the tandem of President Digong and Alan Cayetano.
That's right.
One Cebu supported Alan Cayetano. There was always this misimpression nga I supported him for vice president. No, I did. One Cebu supported Alan Cayetano because si Alan Cayetano was the tandem ni President Duterte. So that gave, you know, the advantage to Lenny. But this time, One Cebu fully stood behind BBM. You ask, my brother, si Pablo Jan, he stayed with Isko, but he told his mayors, you rally behind the president of One Cebu. Kung kinsa ang iyang choice, mo'y inyong suportahan. And if you would look at the numbers, BBM won in Barili, Aluginsan, Pinamungahan, Asturias, Pinamungahan. He was a close second in Balamban. In Balamban, Pacquiao won. And he was a close second. Asturias, he won. In Tuburan, it was Pacquiao again. Lenny was second, third si BBM. But in the 7th district, where, you know, there were those that warned me, be careful sa 7th, kay Mona, wow. The 7th district delivered to me, in terms of percentage of votes, the highest, at 92 to 93%, ang delivery of votes sa 7th district to me as governor. And in all of the towns of the 7th district, BBM won, including Dumanhog, with a majority of 3,000 over Lenny Robredo. Because I sincerely asked the mayors, I will not force you, but I am asking you, since I have fully put my support behind BBM. And, you know, Congressman Peter said, you know, I really said, my choice is Lenny, but it's really up to you. So, in the 7th district, let me just make this very clear. It was a sweep by BBM.
Much more, sir. Much more, sir.
Oh yeah, 92%. In Dumanhog, I got over 29,000 votes. My opponent was 1,000 kapin. That's a delivery of about 95%. There are some barangays nga na zero. In Tuburan, I got 32,000 votes. Ang opponent was about 2,000. So that's about, what, 92%. But ang sa kadaghanan sa Kwan, 7th district, it's either 89, 90, 91, 92. Dumanhog, I think, had the highest at 95. In the town of Sugbuanon, I got, I think, 10,000 kapin. Kanya ang kontra, 500.
Reflective siya of the overall.
The overall. But that was already showing good in our surveys na it would be the 7th that would deliver the highest in terms of percentage.